Hello, I'm Joanne Turner, reporting for Total Telecom at Carriers World in London, and I'm talking to Gavin Stewart from Interconnect. Gavin, welcome.
Thank you.
So perhaps you want to start by telling us who Interconnect are as a company.
Sure. Okay. Interconnect, we are a solutions vendor. So we're working with carriers. They're our customer. We're based in Dublin in Ireland. We've been going for about 15 years, and we occupy a very particular space, which is billing and settlement for wholesale voice, and also routing optimization for international voice. So all the decision making for how they route their traffic overseas with carriers, according to the lowest cost and the best quality and so on, that's what our software decides for them.
Okay, so probably quite a bit of a controversial question potentially. So, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the decline in voice over the last few years, really. So have we seen it? Are we still going to see a decline in voice, or what's your opinion on that?
The death of voice. Yeah, okay, well, we've heard it, of course. I think, yes, we've seen it perhaps discussed for about 10 years now. Many times, I remember 10 years ago, people were saying, well, we give it 3 or 4 years and we're all still here. So obviously the market's changed hugely. I think one of the differences we've seen is that if you're using a solution like ours, perhaps it's changed from a tool that can help you make lots of money, lots of margin very easily, to more of a perhaps a defensive tool. So I think certainly in international voice, where margins are pretty thin now, it's a business where it's very easy to lose a lot of money and quite hard to make money. So really you need the most solid tool you can to defend yourself against that. But yep, still here, and we think it's got a bit of legs in it. Yeah, it's still good margin business ultimately if you know what you're doing.
Okay. So how are Interconnect sort of helping carriers to sort of take it to the next level, if you like, from the billing and the international routing perspective?
Okay, well, we would see ourselves as a provider of a very sophisticated solution. I mean, it's a piece of software we developed first in 2001. We developed it ourselves, and it's changed hugely over the years, but it's essentially the same functionality that's grown out of the same code base. So we've seen all sorts of market changes come, content and so on, all these things had to be part of our roadmap. So today we've got a very full-featured solution. So we'd see our solution working for carriers that either have complex national interconnect regimes to settle, and there are some pretty crazy ones, or for international carriers where they've got complex bilateral agreements and swaps and commitments. That stuff is just getting crazier and crazier in terms of the complexity. And happily we have a product that's always been competitive, and we're able to keep it up to date with the latest bilateral types. And so for the more challenging customer, that's probably the kind of customer that we like.
You're really helping with that disruptive market piece that we're hearing about, I guess, then.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going through a pretty interesting time for Interconnect. It's a long time since anything really changed in Interconnect, but over the last 18 months, the whole way of dealing with rating and charging has turned upside down pretty much. In that it suddenly became necessary not just to look at the destination or B number of the call, which is what everyone's been doing, but all of a sudden there is differential pricing offered depending on where you called from. So this has created quite a bit of chaos. It came out of nowhere. It's spreading one country at a time, but seems to be here to stay. Happily we've got a solution that can cope with it, but it's created, I suppose, on one side, a lot of operational pain for carriers who were used to adding up their wholesale invoices correctly, and suddenly that's a lot harder to do. But on the other side, as well as the pain, there is opportunity. So the impact of this new change makes it more difficult for carriers to price their own offers confidently. One way around that is to apply very safe pricing, risk-free pricing, but then that's just an expensive loaf of bread and no one wants to buy it. So for carriers who are really on top of this differential charging, there are opportunities to gain market share. So there's excitement as well.
Yeah, it helps that whole revenue assurance piece as well that you've touched on. Gavin, thanks for your time today.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.